Tzu Chi volunteers in the United States hold an aid distribution to help tornado survivors in Kokomo, Indiana. Seniors in Kaohsiung, Taiwan finally fulfilled their lifelong dream of going back to school. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee-Shioda. Thank you for joining us. In the United States, a tornado touched down in Kokomo, Indiana last month, with nearly 400 households affected. Tzu Chi collaborated with the local Red Cross to carry out an aid distribution, with volunteers from all over the Midwestern United States also joining in this event.
We want to teach our kids that.
After the second tornado to hit Kokomo in 3 years, local residents feel depressed and helpless since they have to rebuild their homes over and over again. Fortunately, Tzu Chi offers them assistance and has collaborated with the Red Cross to distribute aid supplies. Volunteers from all over the Midwestern United States also join in this relief work.
Things like this that give you inspiration, give you hope to want to go on, will help our children understand that love is the most important thing in the world.
With Tzu Chi volunteers' care and love, the affected residents can now show smiles on their faces. One of the victims, Harry, who broke his legs when repairing the rooftop of his house, responds to the volunteers with a big smile.
Oh, I love it. Man, I love this thing. I didn't even know you guys exist.
You guys are great people and organization, and from the bottom of our heart, we thank you guys so much.
This senior is deeply touched by the warmth and love brought by Tzu Chi because volunteers are always there to comfort her. This also moves her husband.
Yeah, and with all the love from everybody, right?
The aid supplies are filled with blessings and love brought by Tzu Chi. With all of this, the victims can now bravely face their difficulties. Some of them even vow to join Tzu Chi's blessing ceremony in the future, spreading love throughout the country.
Staying in the United States, the major windstorm that struck Louisiana led tens and thousands of residents to be displaced. To help these residents find warmth in this distressing time, Tzu Chi volunteers from the Dallas chapter readied some 3,000 blankets to send to Louisiana to help with the relief distribution. Manually moving all the boxes, Tzu Chi volunteers from Dallas, Texas find a way to send 3,000 blankets to Louisiana to help flood victims.
When people are hurt and suffer, we too feel their pain and suffering. Today, we have gathered about 25 volunteers to help move 3,000 blankets, which equal 300 cottons, onto a truck. They will be transported to Louisiana to provide some warmth for them.
Before you go, you need to do a first aid.
As this was not a holiday, many of the male volunteers came to help during their lunch break.
I'm here during my break at lunch.
Good. It's really refreshing knowing that you're doing something good for other people.
While loading the blankets onto the truck, a former aid recipient from last year's hurricane relief brought back a coin bank to donate.
We love the blanket, and my daughters, they fight over the blanket. But, and then I kept seeing that bank, and I said, I want to fill it up. So I just kept filling it up, and I said, oh, a lot more people need to do that. That is great. I love that idea.
I'm from Louisiana, and I thank y'all for this. I know the people down there really thank y'all for this too.
Heading towards Louisiana, the truck driver honks his horn to thank the volunteers for their support. Turning our focus to Asia, TIMA's Indonesia chapter held a free clinic at Karamat, Central Jakarta on August 21st and 22nd. As residents with high blood pressure are at a risk of having a stroke, the doctors taught the elderly some simple exercises to keep healthy.
65-year-old Rumsia sits on her chair and chit-chats happily with everyone, but she cannot walk freely. Unless it is necessary, she does not go out often. 1 month ago, Tima came to Keramat to hold a free clinic. They came again today to examine the 68 elderly in the village.
Nenek juga terima kasih ditolongin dari rumah.
I am grateful to the volunteers for picking me up for my health examination. I want to thank them for pushing my wheelchair. I pray everyone will have blessing.
Although Lumsia is advanced in age, but she is very energetic and likes to talk to people.
That grandma is not very healthy physically, but she faces it with a smile. People tend to face their stresses with long faces, but she is full of energy and also talks with people. I'm happy for her.
17 medical professionals and 36 volunteers came to examine the blood pressures and lifestyles of these elderly people. They even played a video to promote healthy living because many elderly people have hypertension.
A stroke happens when the blood can't circulate smoothly or when the blood vessels are blocked, so the organs cannot receive enough oxygen.
The elderly are reminded to take their medicine on time, to watch their diet, and to exercise to keep them healthy.
I feel better now as my feet were feeling a little painful and numb. After doing the exercise, I feel better now.
The correct medical knowledge can help these elderly ease their physical discomfort and pain, and the volunteers can make them feel they aren't lonely.
For the past 8 years, Vietnam Tzu Chi volunteers have been caring for impoverished students in Ho Chi Minh City's District 9. This year, Tzu Chi held the scholarship award ceremony at a local school, and all of the scholarship recipients knew to bring their bamboo coin banks back to donate.
The Tzu Chi Scholarship Award ceremony was held at a school in Ho Chi Minh City of Vietnam. Volunteers came in the early morning to decorate the venue. The Tzu Chi logo formed by bamboo coin banks was the most striking. Those who came to receive their scholarship also brought their banks back to donate.
She asked me to bring this bamboo coin bank here. She hopes to contribute a little and help those in greater need.
I think I should help others since they also helped me. I hope I can help those in greater need with this bamboo coin bank, which is also my little contribution.
This is the 8th year that Tzu Chi has collaborated with the Women's League in Ho Chi Minh City's District 9. The number of the scholarship recipients over the years has increased from 65 students to 580 students.
Master Zheng Yan, who is the founder of Tzu Chi Foundation, hopes that every student can study hard and pay back to society, helping those in need in the future.
I have received the scholarship for 3 years. I will give it to my parents to pay for the tuition.
With Tzu Chi's assistance, these students have learned to express gratitude through the act of giving and realize the importance of helping others.
In Yunlin's Huwei lives Lin Wensheng, who in the past decade or so has donated over $2 million to various charity organizations in Taiwan. He recently even adopted a path of road where repairs were needed to be made in his hometown. His kind-heartedness comes from growing up impoverished and experiencing the hardships of financial difficulties. Entrepreneur Lin Wensheng is walking on the path of road he helped prepared. He donated approximately $127,000 to the local township office to help them expand the pathway.
As this path we are on is very narrow, it is difficult for 2 cars to pass and accidents easily occur.
One car wanted it to pass, and the approaching car then backed up and hit the barrier.
Knowing how much trouble this tiny pathway in his hometown was, Lin didn't hesitate to donate the money to fix this road. This year he is 70. Lin owns a publishing company as well as a construction company. Through his philanthropy, he has donated over $2 million over the course of 13 years.
每当去捡地瓜的时候，那些地
When I
主
go
他
pick
都
out
会
yams, the
卖一
property
些
owner
战
would
果
talk down to me.
那个时候
It was
我
then
内
that I
心
vowed
就
when I am
向天
successful in
发
life,
誓
I will help
只要
disadvantaged
我以
groups.
后能够成功，我一定会帮助一些弱势的族群。
Knowing what it's like to be poor, Lin vowed to be a kind force in society. Even though he's now suffering from testicular cancer, he's still insistent on doing good deeds, as he finds the ability to give to be a blessing.
我很庆幸，我有
I'm honored to have the ability to repay society.
In 2015, the Legislative Yuan passed a new law with regards to terminally ill patients receiving hospice care during the last stages of their lives. The law aims to protect the rights of patients and their families should they decide that the time has come to cease medical treatment and accept a dignified death. For many doctors treating such patients, though, it is a delicate process fraught with the danger of facing possible legal repercussions should they follow the patient's wishes. Let's hear some different perspectives.
被贴开的天花板很难过。
Every day, just looking at the ceiling, I was very sad. I often think about what type of situation could offer me release from this. My brain is clear, but the problem is that my body doesn't listen to me.
很少有看护愿意。
Knowing medicine and treatment have little hope to offer them, would you say these terminally ill patients have the right to decide when it is time for their lives to end?
It can generally be said that dying a comfortable death is better than living in a near-death condition. We need to imagine ourselves in their position, and when they are still in the position where they can clearly state their desires with regard to their own life, then we should honor their decision and help them fulfill their wish.
One former national legislator, Yang Yuxing, who also suffers from a rare disorder, has made it her mission to give patients the dignity they deserve in making such a decision. In 2015, after debating the conditions and rights of people with terminal illnesses, the third session of the Legislative Yuan announced the implementation of Asia's first special law to protect the rights of patients receiving hospice care.
Doctors can't, under just any circumstances, say, oh, he signed a consent form, I'm going to refuse treatment. No, he needs to make certain that conditions are met.
The law is designed for those suffering in an irreversible condition, the terminally ill, those stuck in a vegetative state, those with severe dementia, or those whose pain and suffering are unbearable. However, for doctors on the front line, the new law still causes some concern.
We need to make the laws clear. If it is in accordance with the patient's declaration, then the doctors don't need to fear that their actions will be in violation of the laws of Taiwan. When this is done, physicians will be able to act according to the will of the patient and do so with peace of mind. This aspect of making laws and regulations clear is very important.
In the year 2000, Taiwan established a set palliative medical regulation limited to terminally ill patients, which patients can sign a letter of intent for. Such system is common in the Western countries. The process of recognizing the autonomous rights of patients began receiving serious discussion in the 1990s and has been gaining steam ever since.
Doctors want to save patients. Sometimes it's hard for us to determine if a patient is in their final stages. Some doctors might even think that there is no final stage. The law needs also to protect a doctor who is following the patient's wishes. If they are able to act without being blamed, then doctors can treat patients with ease.
Under the current laws governing medical practice, a doctor's first and foremost responsibility is to save lives and administer aid. With the implementation of this new law going into effect in 3 years, doctors will be expected to honor the wishes of patients concerning their medical care. However, some say the provision of the laws are too unclear to be properly enforced.
Our laws explain in the 7th and 14th articles that if withdrawing life supports from patients at their behest, then the doctors may be exempt from criminal and administrative legal action.
The law goes into effect in 3 years to give the doctors time to understand the legality of it.
There's not many patients that can benefit from this new law, so it won't be easy even if it does goes into effect in 3 years.
Any law of legal practice to determine when and how a person may end their life is bound to be a complex issue. The new law is only hoping to ensure the rights of the individuals are respected. In Kaohsiung's田寮district, which is a farming village, many elderly people didn't have an opportunity to learn when young. At Chongde Elementary, a senior citizens learning course was offered to the local community, where the elderly get a chance to go back to school and learn to read and write. Much to the delight of these seniors, a calligraphy class was even offered.
The students in this class aren't children. This is a course designed for seniors to retain their reading ability and keep their mental faculties sharp as they get older. They are practicing calligraphy. However, for some, the activity was difficult to get used to.
I used to not even be able to hold the brush. My hands would shake. Now my hand is steady.
The elderly ladies are a bit shy to show their characters, but after practice, they have confidence in their writing. The calligraphy class at Chongde Elementary has been offered for 5 semesters, and the calligraphy practice has been usefully applied in their daily lives.
The first line is Chongde Elementary. The second is Gangshantou.
Thanks to the class, Mrs. Chen is able to take the bus on her own, which was a major challenge before.
I used to avoid taking the bus. I would always watch to make sure it was the driver I knew because he would read out the stops.
The teacher uses a positive and energetic attitude to teach the students, and they have all been very receptive. The teacher considers them all model students.
Seeing them study in the program, I am very impressed because they always bring a very joyful heart to class.
Learning is something that should last a lifetime. These seniors are enjoying each other's company and laughter, while also keeping their minds sharp in old age.
The students of this senior learning class are all very diligent students who missed the opportunity to learn when they were younger. Among the seniors is Lin Zhuhuan, who dropped out of school when she was in the 3rd grade because she had to take care of her younger siblings. Even after marriage, she held on to the dream of learning, and finally, 2 years ago, Mrs. Lin began to fulfill her dream. Being able to go to class for 62-year-old Lin Zhuhuan is a very big deal. She also refreshes her lessons when she gets home. Going to school has been her dream since young. As the eldest amongst her siblings, even if she had the brains for school, she had to sacrifice her own learning opportunity in the 3rd grade for the rest of her family.
I held one sibling in one hand while another was on my back. If I go to class, my siblings would need to stay outside. But if they went in with me, they disturb everyone. So I gave up studying.
When she had children of her own, she was quite envious when they began school.
I couldn't continue schooling when I was young, so I was jealous of my children. I felt if I had a chance, I'd go back to school.
The longing in her heart was finally eased 2.5 years ago. She had heard of a senior citizens course to learn how to write and immediately signed up with the full support of her husband.
If she's in a bad mood, I'll tell her to go study at school. I'm a graduate of the 6th grade, but she knows more characters than I do.
For her, knowing how to write is just the first lesson to a long journey of learning. The Tzu Chi Kindergarten in Malaysia recently organized a 3-day program to let the children experience for themselves the difficulty and inconvenience of pregnancy. After participating in such a program, some children even repented to their parents for their past bad behavior.
The Tzu Chi Kindergarten in Malaysia organizes an Experiencing the Difficulty of Pregnancy program for students. They have to carry a water balloon in front of them.
I can't sit up straight because I'm afraid of hitting my belly, which may hurt my baby.
I can't sleep well because I cannot turn over. I have to sleep on my back to protect my baby.
During pregnancy, everyone needs to carefully mind their baby, otherwise the child may suffer injuries or things may not go smoothly.
I should say sorry to my baby because I didn't take good care of her. I fell down and ended up with a miscarriage.
When we left home this morning, he asked me to turn up the volume of the music because he wanted to give the baby blessings by having him listen to Buddhist songs.
I've already brought clothes for my baby. I want to dress her in the clothes.
After the students experienced the difficulty of pregnancy and childbirth for 3 days, some of them started to reflect on their experiences.
I can imagine my mother's difficulty of pregnancy and her experience of having a baby kicking. I said sorry to my mother after returning home.
Apart from giving students an opportunity to experience the endless love of their parents, this program also emphasizes the importance of filial piety.
Also about teaching valuable life lessons when young. In response to the Malaysian government's policy of sorting trash from recyclables, recently a local kindergarten in Selangor invited Tzu Chi volunteers to help further explain what items are recyclable and what are not. The nearly 30 parents and students participating all found the event to be enlightening and helpful. From June of this year, the Malaysian government has begun to enforce its 6 states and 2 federal territories to adhere to separating its recyclable items from the trash. In response to this, a local kindergarten in Selangor invited Tzu Chi volunteers to explain to its children and their parents what recycling is.
It's a parents-child activity day, as we hope the parents will also get involved in environmental protection.
Not only just talking about these ideals, volunteers let the parents and children get some hands-on practice to reinforce the lessons.
救地球，因为地球生病。
你捡了些什么啊？还有啊？
罐子。
他拿去哪里？
他拿去环保。
啊，这不能回收的，这要收上纸皮。
The parents' involvement helps to bring conservation ideals into each family's dinner table.
他们就很清楚知道。
The children know not to throw away the recyclables into the garbage because I remind them. They will put recyclables into the rice bin.
他就会拿去放在那个环保箱这样子。
Actualizing environmental lessons at home, parents help reinforce these ideals into the children's daily life so that recycling is no longer a foreign concept. In Taiwan, Tzu Chi volunteers from Shilin District visit the Taipei City Yangming Home for the Disabled each month. This monthly event is something the residents look forward to as well, as they know it is filled with much laughter and joy. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.